Charles Koss just did a very fine video on the melted stairs in the Hathor Temple at Dendora. And he thought it maybe was as in stalagmites form, as water dripped down over the years. Although that's possible, I think it's more likely it was caused by a solar plasma strike because of the image on the temple ceiling, for one. And second, if you look up here, you'll see it looks like there's some damage up here too, as in when the sun and the solar plasma came through here and it rolled down the stairs. Now, Charles postulated a quite reasonable thought, which was, well, then why did this expand? It looks like material was added here, not just that it melted. But if you look here on researchgate.net, you'll see that different materials, basalt, granite, sandstone, expand when they're heated up to 1,000 degrees centigrade. So that could account not only for the melting, but then the expansion and also the damage there. Well, then the question might be, well, why wasn't the outer part of the temple apparently sun damaged? Well, we see all over Egypt and the world the strange phenomena where whole parts of temples and whatnot are not damaged, just certain areas of them are. And also, Dr. Schock has postulated that the figures or drawings at Nazca, the Nazca lines, were just the people putting in the sand what they saw in the sky when the last solar outburst occurred. And he postulated that those solar outbursts could look like stickmen in different figures as the energy formed in lines. So one of those plasma lines or plasma plumes could have then come down here into this hallway and kind of like balled lightly and just rolled around through it in the center and melting and expanding the rock. In a March 6, 2014 article in New Scientist, they talk about how the Earth raises a plasma shield to battle solar storms. Earth can raise shields to protect itself against solar storms. For the first time, satellites and ground-based detectors have watched as the planet sends out a tendril of plasma to fight off blasts of charged solar matter. The discovery confirms a long-standing theory about Earth's magnetic surroundings and offers us a way to keep track of the planet's defenses. It's changed our thinking about how the system operates, Joe Borofsky at the Science Space Station Institute in Boulder, Colorado said. Earth does not just sit there and take whatever the solar wind gives it. It actually fights back. Earth is surrounded by a bubble of magnetism called the magnetosphere, which protects us from the bulk of the solar storm, a stream of high-energy particles constantly flowing from the sun. And then in the next section, shields up. In January 2013, GPS sensors on the ground mapped electrons in the upper atmosphere and saw a tendril of increased electron density curling away from the North Pole, indicating that a plume of plasma was veering off towards the sun. Now remember the image I talked about in my previous, most recent video on the primordial waters, which I think really depicts the electromechanical forces in the Earth being used by the pyramids to protect us from these solar plasma waves. For the first time, we were able to monitor the entire cycle of this plasma stretching from the atmosphere to the boundary between Earth's magnetic field and the sun's, says Walsh. It gets to that boundary and helps protect us, keeps these solar storms from slamming into us. So basically, the gist of this article is, when the Earth sees the magnetosphere being torn, it quickly rushes to seal it. But what happens apparently when these cyclic solar plasma waves hit 11,000 years or so, the magnetosphere is overwhelmed and it can't stop the solar plasma. And so I think the pyramids probably were turned on 20 to 40 to 50 years before they knew one was coming to pump the magnetosphere full of more electromagnetic particles to make it stronger. And I think they stood by. They were able to monitor in real time where these tears occurred in the magnetosphere, and they were able to help the Earth send up plumes to repair them by using focused electromagnetic particle beams focused through the inside of the pyramids and up through the capstones into the areas where they were needed. Well, that's it for today, folks. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe and forward this video to all your friends. That's my history, and I'm sticking to it.